Please get out your practice test. Turn to number, it's practice test 1, but turn to number 10. This is on the calculator part. So your test is going to be just like these. The first page, front and back, will be no calculator. We've done that already. And now we're on the calculator side. So we're going to have a calculator to do this problem. Okay, so I'll get your stuff out. This is practice test 1. Now, I think I may have called it pre-test. So this is for chapter 4. At the top, I called it pre-test. And then we are on practice test. And we are on the second page where it says number 10. All right. Now, you look at this and you immediately think, all right, I need my trigonometry. Let me sine, cosine, or tangent. So kind of look at the setup. Which one is it? Sine, cosine, or tangent? Cosine. How do we know it's cosine? Because it's adjacent over hypotenuse. So cosine x equals adjacent over hypotenuse. Now, remember, there's something special when your variable is the angle. When your variable, when x is the actual angle, we don't use our regular cosine button, we use our special cosine button. So we are going to type into our calculator second cosine. We use this button, our special cosine button, when we are looking for an angle. So we just type in second cosine 11/14, and I got 38. Did it tell me how to round? Nope. So I got 38.2. What about you? Everybody get 38.2? Marissa? Okay. Today we're going to pay total and complete attention, all right? I don't want to have to write detentions, but I need everybody focused because we have a test coming up. Your test is going to be Monday. No, your test is Monday. Okay, so here we go. Here we go. Everybody get 38.2? Next problem. Same kind of setup. So you look at it, and the first thing you have to decide is, all right, sine, cosine, or tangent. So look at the setup. What do you think? Tangent. And the reason you think tangent is because it is opposite over adjacent. So tangent 28, remember, every time the angle gets attached to the thing, tangent, cosine, sine, whatever it is, the angle gets attached to it. So it's tangent 28 equals 13 over x. Now we've done this lots, solve that kind of equation. How do we do that? What do we have to do to solve that? Times by x. And then divide by the tangent of 28, right? So again, we just go to our calculators. 13 divided by tan 28. And I got about 24.4. Did you? They match that? If you have a calculator, you should be typing in with me to make sure you know how. Now, number 11 is different. Okay, Luke, same thing for you. I want you facing front. I'm going to have to start writing detentions. I need you paying attention. Marissa, don't say a word. All right, just draw a course of 118 degrees. Now, this you just have to remember. Anytime we're doing courses, so like if we have a ship sailing or something like that, we're going to use our compass. And our compass, and you all know northeast, south, and west. But the way these are labeled is how? Do you remember? What angle is due north? No. We we have to keep this straight. In regular math, I should say in all other situations, this is 0, this is 90, this is 180, and this is 270, and that's 360 again. That's the way it is in every situation except a compass. In a compass, it's different. I'm sorry about that, it just is. Who remembers the labels for the compass, which we use every time we do directions? Here they are for the compass. Okay, now we have been through that. You need to write it down and memorize that. We spent a whole day one day talking about these things, directions. Now it says, okay, on my compass, draw a course of 118 degrees. So where's look at these numbers. Where's 118 gonna fall? Right in here, isn't it? So there's a course of 118. All you have to do is draw that picture. It's easy. That's it. That's the answer. Done with that problem. So the next one. Now this is kind of a combination calculator and no calculator problem. Does anyone recall how we start this one? Let's do it by hand first. We'll do it exactly, that means by hand, and then we'll get our calculator out and do it. So does anybody remember how we start it by hand? Well, there's a parentheses. And whenever there's a parentheses in math, we start there, right? I mean, that's just what we do. So we're going to start inside that parentheses. When you see this notation, you need to remember you're looking over here. Those are the rules for that notation. Lots to remember, I know. Now I'm going to draw a triangle either here or here. Does anyone have a suggestion as to whether I should draw my butterfly bow tie in quadrant 1 or quadrant 4? 1. Why 1? It's a positive number. And if it's positive, it's in quadrant 1. That 2/5 is a positive number. Now, tangent 2/5. That means opposite over adjacent is 2/5. Now, can you find the hypotenuse?
Yes,
A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Remember, C is always the hypotenuse, right? We don't care what A and B are, but C is always the hypotenuse. So what's that going to end up being when you solve that? It's going to be the square root of 29. Now, what do I want to know? I want to know I've drawn the parentheses. Now I want to know its sign. Look at the picture. What's the sign? Opposite over hypotenuse. So the answer would be 2 over root 29, which we have to rationalize. So we get 2 root 29 over 29. Now, that is exact. That's by hand. Whenever we do anything by hand, we draw a picture, make triangles, all that stuff. Now it says do the exact same problem on your calculator. Now that is super simple because you just press those buttons. You just type it in, type exactly what you see. So type sine second tangent 2 divided by 5. And you should come up with a decimal 0.3714. Do not get confused. When you're doing that on your calculator, that's what you're doing. You're doing it on your calculator. Just type in exactly what it says. So everybody getting 3.3714? Everybody with a calculator? All right. Now we have our little word problems, and then we're done. So here we go. Let's see what we've got. Draw a picture. Okay, so these are the directions on the test. Draw a picture. All right, we do that every time anyway. Write an equation. And the equation is going to be either sine, cosine, or tangent. And then solve it, round to the nearest hundred. So here we go. A squirrel is sitting in the top of the tree. So here's the squirrel up here at the top of the tree. He's looking at a nut on the ground. So the squirrel is looking down at the nut on the ground. And his angle of depression is 37.8. Find the distance from the nut to the base of the tree. All right. So everybody okay so far? Squirrel up there, nut down there. Here we go. Somewhere I gotta put a 76, a 37.8, and an X. I always have to have an X in my problem, or my picture. All right? So where does the 76 go? 76 goes over here because the squirrel is in the top of the tree and it says the tree is 76 feet tall. Is everybody okay with that? Now where does the 37.8 go? Okay, the angle of depression though, what did we agree we were going to do? We're going to put them right here. Every angle of elevation and depression match. And so, don't get confused. Don't be putting it up here. That's wrong. Put it here. Everything right down here. Somebody in the other class said, put it in the corner. Call this the corner. I don't care. Put it here. That's where it goes. Now, where does X go? Bottom. How do I know X goes in the bottom? Nut to base of tree. Here's the tree. Here's the base of the tree. Here's the nut. That's X. All you have to do is do what the problem says. It's easy. Now, that's our picture. Now, we're going to write an equation. You're always going to write an equation with sine, cosine, or tangent. So, which one? Tangent. And you decided tangent, Alex, because it's opposite over adjacent. That is tangent. So the equation will be what? Tangent 37.8 equals 76 over x. And this one is just like the other one that we did, right? So we have x tan 37.8 equals 76. So we're going to move the x over here, right? Oh, you already had this one done? Oh, okay. All right. So try to pay attention now in case you And so x equals, what does x equal? 76 divided by tan 37.8. So I'm going to go to my calculator. Now, is this going to be a regular tan or is this going to be my special tan? Regular tangent. When do I use my special tangent? When x is the angle. Is x the angle this time? No, so I use regular tangent. So 76 divided by regular tangent, 37.8. I got 97.98. And that would be feet. All right, you guys with calculators, you getting that? Okay, here we go. We got a seagull on top of a lighthouse. So here's the gull on top of the lighthouse. He spots a fish in the water below. So here's the fish. The gull is 78 feet above sea level. All right, so where does the 78 go? Right here. He's 8 feet up. He is 320 feet from the fish. The seagull is 320 feet from the fish. 320 is going to be the hypotenuse. Don't get confused. Here's the gull, here's the fish. They're 320 feet apart. Find the angle of depression of the gull to the fish. Where are you going to put that X? Where we always put it. This is where you're going to put your angles every time. Technically it's up here, but it's outside the triangle. I don't want you getting confused and putting it here. Just always put it down here. Now, pick an equation, or a function. You got to write an equation. Sine, cosine, or tangent? Sine. So sine x equals 78 over 320. Is that right? So, oh, wait a minute. What am I going to have to do on my calculator? This is going to be special sine because I'm looking for an angle. So I'm going to type special sine 78 3/20. So second sine 78 divided by 320. Did you get 14.11? And that would be degrees. That's an angle. 14.11. Everybody okay with that? Alright, we're almost done with this one, and we'll go to a different one. If this guy does. Alright, so we're on C. Alright, so see if you can draw your picture real quick. Can you draw a picture? You know it's going to be a right triangle. They're all right triangles. Where's the airplane? Up here in the air, hopefully. And down here's the airport. He's coming in for a landing. He's 6,543 feet above the ground. So the airplane is 6,543 above the ground. Does that make sense, putting it there? His angle of depression is 23 degrees. Where are you going to put the 23? Where we always put the angle, right here. How far is the airplane from the airport? Where does X go? Hypotenuse. There's the plane, there's the port, there we are. Ken, I'm going to write an equation now, sine, cosine, or tangent. Always sine, cosine, or tangent. So what do you think? Which side is this over here? Which side is that? Compared for this angle, this would be which side? Opposite, adjacent, hypotenuse? Opposite. Which side is this? Okay, what function does opposite and hypotenuse? Sine. That's why we're doing sine. That's our thought process. So sine 23 equals 6,543 over x. So we've got a couple like this already today. Bring the x over. And divide. Will this be regular sine or special sine? Regular. Regular. So 6,543 divided by sine 23. Oh, I got a big number. Did you? 16745.53 feet. Everybody still with me? Lucas, you doing all right back there? All right. All right, now we got a flagpole. So we're going to find the height of a flagpole. Find the height. Is that okay to put the X right there? Find the height of the flagpole. The shadow is 31 feet long. Where's the shadow go? Bottom. Shadows are on the ground, kids. Right? You make a shadow on the ground. Where do I put the 29-degree angle? Where I always put my angle, right here. All right, Avery, I'm going to write an equation now, and it's going to be sine, cosine, or tangent. What would you think for this particular problem? Think about, okay, there's your angle. Which side is this? Opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse?
Adjacent.
This one over here.
Oh, opposite.
Opposite. It's across from it, so that's the opposite side. What's this one?
Adjacent.
Adjacent. So you've got opposite and adjacent. So which one, sine, cosine, or tangent, is that? That's tangent. So we're going to write a tangent equation. Tangent 29, the angle always goes with the tangent, or the sine, or whatever it is, equals x over 31. So Avery, how do I solve that? Tangent 29 is opposite over adjacent, x over 31. What will I do to solve that?
Your x equal a.
No, look at this equation. I need to get it ready to solve. I have to type it into my calculator. So what am I gonna do to get it ready to do that? I want to get x by itself.
Move the 31.
Yep, and when I move the 31, I'm gonna multiply it over, right? So I'm gonna have 31 and 29. Hey, crew car wash is awesome, but stop. We're not talking about that right now. You've got to figure out, we got to figure out how tall this light pole is. So 31 tan 29. I got 17.18 feet. 17.18 feet. All right, Phil, this one's yours. What is the angle of elevation of a man looking at the top of a building? So here's our right triangle. Here's the building. Here's the man. He's looking up there at the top of the building. The building is 84 feet tall. So where do I put the 84? Right here. The man is standing 1,234 feet from the building. So where do I put the 1,234 feet? The man is standing 1,234 feet from the building. Yeah. Well, now think about it, Phil. If I say, how far am I standing from you? Don't we measure right along there? Yes. So here's the man, here's the building. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I want to know the angle of elevation. So where do I put my x? Right here. Always, always, always. That's another tangent because look, compared to the x right there, you've got opposite and adjacent. So we'll say tan x equals 84 over 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, is this going to be regular tangent or special tangent? This is special. When is it special? When you're looking for an angle, when x is the angle. So second tangent, 84 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, I got a little angle, 3.89 degrees. 3.89. Hey, Richard, what are you doing back there? Right. Put it away. No. Put your iPad away. Okay, whatever you were, was that your phone you were typing on?
Yeah.
Okay, finished pre-practice test 1. I said pre-test, I meant practice test. It's exactly like the test. All right, so let's go to number 3. Let's go to number 3. Practice test number 3. Let's just go through. They're all exactly the same. Let's go to 3. You have 3 done? Let's go to practice test 3. You skipped alpha. Why didn't you go potty during alpha?
I didn't see it. I got here late. I had to turn all the way around and go pick up Dejan Collins' little brother because he just left and went to speed school without him. Kids have no respect in school.
Is it an emergency? Can you use the restroom?
Okay, I'll do number 2.
All right, so we're on practice test number 3. Here we go. Number 1. Number 1. Now, tomorrow. Here, approximately, yes. Tomorrow, we're going to have a little quiz, folks. And the little quiz is going to be, I'm going to pick 5 review problems, and you're going to have to do 3 of them. All right? So some of you aren't paying any attention, and you need to be focusing and starting to pull this stuff together. This is a big test. We've been working on this since Christmas. Lots of stuff to memorize or whatever. So one of the questions on the quiz might be like number 1. Change this into degrees. Well, this would be an easy one, so I hope this is on the quiz. How do we change this into degrees? The easiest way is to remember what? Pi is 180, right? Divided by 5, I'll just tell you in case you don't know, 36. You could figure that out easily enough, but I'll save you the trouble. And then times 2 would be 72. So that's 72 degrees. The answer would be 72 degrees. To change into degrees, we just do 180 divided by 5 times 2. It's arithmetic. All right? Now the next one is not quite as easy. We're changing into radians. All right, so what if this is on your quiz tomorrow? Who remembers how to do this one? Patty? We set up our proportion, and every time we do it, we have pi over 180. In this problem, we have x over 100, because 100 is the problem. So pi over 180 equals x over 100. And then what do we do? How do we solve that? Cross multiply. So 100 pi equals 180x. And then we'll divide by 180. So x equals 100 pi over 180. I'm reducing now, so I can cancel out the zeros. 10 over 18. What's 10 over 18 reduced? Not decimal form, but fraction reduced. That would be 5 pi over 9. Okay, so that might be a quiz question. We had 100 degrees. So pi over 180 equals x over 100. What was your question? No. We're gonna leave it just like that. Your job, Peachy, was to change this into radians. If you put 180 in there, you're going back to degrees. And you're just gonna end up with the 100 that you started with. Okay. Number 3. Oh, these are a little bit harder. So let's look at number 3. We have an angle of 125 degrees. So I am drawing the picture for you. This is what the picture means, or what the problem means. This picture right here says we have an 125 degree angle in a circle, and the radius of the circle is 6. And your job is to find the measure of the arc. So you're finding this length right here. That's called the arc. All right. Anybody remember how to do this? What? Okay, okay. Ellie says arc length is radius times radians. And I know what you're thinking. Oh my gosh, there's so much to remember. I know there is. That's why this daily practice is so important. All right, so what's wrong with my problem? This could be easy. I know the radius is 6, so that works out great. What is wrong? I need to convert the angle because the one I have is in degrees, and I need it to be in radians. Well, lucky me, I just practiced that. Over here, it was 100. Now it's 125, but you're going to do it the same way, which is set up your proportion. Pi over 180. Pi over 180 equals what? X over 125. Your job is to make this a radian so you can plug it in here. So here we go. 125 pi equals 180x. And I divide by 180. So x equals 125 pi over 180. Now I'm going to reduce that. What can I take? I don't have zeros to cancel this time. What can I take into 125 and 180 both? 5. So 5 goes in there. 25 over 36. Now this is one of those things kids miss a lot of times. Is that what I should put a circle around or put in the answer blank? No. Remember, that is this. So I need to plug this into my formula. So 6 times 25 pi over 36. Radius times radians. This is a hard problem. This is probably the hardest one on the whole test. So let's see. I'm going to multiply across. So I have 150 pi over 36. Does that reduce at all? Actually, it does. It reduces to 25 pi over 6. So the answer is 25 pi over 6 inches. Is that how my radius was? No, centimeters. Sorry, centimeters. 25 pi over 6 centimeters is the answer. Now that would have been a lot easier problem if this angle would have been given in radians to start with, right? Because arc length is radius times radians. All that hassle was because we had to change the angle into radians. You okay, Phil? You sure? All right. Number 4, much easier problem. So now here's an easier one. So maybe on tomorrow's quiz, we have a problem like this. It looks confusing, but oh my gosh, it's not. This is an easy one. You've done lots of these. So we need to find sine, cosine, we already have, tangent, cosecant, secant, and cotangent. Well, wait a minute. If the cosine is 2/3, what's the secant? 3/2. That's an automatic. So everybody gets these two right. That was given, and this is just the reciprocal. All right, how do we go about finding the rest of them? Do you know? Well, there's nothing to plug in. We're going to draw a picture, right? Or at least we draw a picture. What does this tell me? it's between 270 and 360. So I'm doing my normal math now, my normal setup. So where am I going to draw this butterfly bow tie? I'm told it's between 270 and 360. Where would that be? Quadrant 4. So I'm drawing my little butterfly bow tie down here in quadrant 4. And what do I know about him? They told me the cosine was 2/3. So what does that tell me? Adjacent over hypotenuse is 2/3.
You have this one done too?
So adjacent over hypotenuse is 2/3. What's the next step? Pythagorean theorem. So watch it now. This is C. Hypotenuse is always C. So 2 squared plus B squared is 3 squared. So 4 plus B squared is 9. So B squared is 5. Which means what's my B right here? The negative square root of 5. Why is it negative? Down. Remember, if you're not in quadrant 1, something has to be negative. We're in quadrant 4, so we got our negative. Now we should be able to fill in everything. Once you get the picture drawn, since you have your stuff memorized, you're good to go. What's the sign? Remember, here's your angle right here. So what's the sign? Negative square root of 5 over 3. How did he do that? Opposite over hypotenuse. If that's the sign, then the cosecant is 3 over negative root 5. But we'll multiply top and bottom and get 3 root 5 over negative 5. As we multiply by root 5. How about the tangent? What's the tangent? Negative root 5 over 2, opposite over adjacent, which means the cotangent is negative 2 over root 5. Does anybody have a question about that? Because there's so many answers, that might be worth more points on the test. So we need to make sure we're getting it right. Does anybody wonder where something came from up there? I showed all my work. Does anything there bother you? Lucas? No. Good? Got that? All right, number 5. Keep in mind the first page of this practice test, just like the first page of your test, is no calculator. So I know you love to press your second tangent button on problem A, but you can't because you're not going to have a calculator. So, what do? Well, I don't know. Can anybody remember how we approached this problem? No calculator. Do you remember, because we've done this every single problem we've done, we draw a picture? We draw a picture? Now there are some rules about this. It tells me that my picture has to be over here. And it's a positive 1, so I'm going to draw it in quadrant 1. And this is 1 over 1. You want to think of your tangent as a fraction, opposite over adjacent, it's a fraction. So opposite over adjacent is 1 over 1, which means what's that? Not 2, square root of 2. How big is that angle? You should recognize that picture now. How big is that angle? 45. So the answer to the problem is 45 degrees. That's an easy problem. You should get that one. If you remember, you need to draw a picture. We draw a picture every single time. Every problem on this test, we draw a picture for. except the very first couple. Now, what do you remember about that notation? Where do I draw the same arc here for this one? No, where's this one? Top. So we're going to draw our top here. And again, you got to decide, I'm going to draw a triangle here, or I'm going to draw a triangle here. Which one is it? Left side. Because there's a negative there. You would never draw a negative in quadrant 1, so you must be over here. What would this side be? Right here where my finger is. Negative square root of 3. And we know it's negative square root of 3 because cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Do you recognize this triangle?
30 degrees.
That's a 30-degree angle. If you say the answer's 30, I'm going to have to take points off. Because 30 is in quadrant 1, and you're not in quadrant 1. What angle is the answer to the problem? 150. All the way back there in quadrant 2. 150 degrees. Okay? Alright, so tomorrow, we've been through an entire practice test and part of another one. Tomorrow, you gotta know at least some of this stuff.
Thursday for the homework?
No, homework's due tomorrow.